Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon and Tony. Authorities in Florida shut down a school for strippers.
Tony Kornheiser, what? That's where I got my master's.
Yeah, please.
Hey, see, I know that's funny. But the truth is, today that should have been reversed. Because in Wilbon's America, you're the one that goes to the strip clubs all the time.
I don't ever go to strip clubs.
You have told me that you have been to strip clubs, and it has been announced over the loudspeaker, PTI in the house.
No.
I've heard that from you.
Never happened.
That you've told me that.
I've never go to
Welcome back to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Seahawks wonder whether they can afford Russell Wilson. The Pacers try to run off Roy Hibbert, and Jordan Spieth goes low.
Real low.
But we begin today with our pal Charles Barkley declaring in so many words that the Golden State Warriors, the #1 team in the NBA, will not win the championship. Barkley said, quote, "I don't like jump shooting teams. I don't think you can make enough jumpers to win 4 series in a row," unquote. Well, but I know you and Charles agree on almost everything.
A lot.
Do you agree with him on this?
Tony, in general, I do. And Charles has history to back him up. People think Charles won't look at any stats, but the stats back Charles Barkley up.
Don't go to advanced metrics.
I don't need to be advanced. But the only team that has led the league in three-point shooting and won a championship also had Akeem Olajuwon in the middle. The Houston Rockets did it a couple of times when Michael Jordan wasn't in the league, I might point out, too. So it doesn't happen. Charles is on solid footing. The thing is, Tony, as we move forward, jump shooting teams don't equal soft teams, which used to be the case. You can now be a jump shooting team, lead the league in threes, and be a great defensive team. And that's where this gets a little muddy for people like Charles and me who don't believe in jump shooting teams winning the championship.
I'm going to tell you what Charles Barkley did here. He made the smart play. He took the field. He looked at whoever is going to win this thing, who's ever rated #1, and he says of Golden State, they got to play at least 2 real tough series in the West.
That's right.
They got to play a real tough series after that. So I'm going to take the chalk bet. I'm going to bet against one team and give myself 15 others
it fits
to
his
go
philosophy of his entire basketball
I don't think
career.
they're going to win necessarily either. I like the Cleveland Cavaliers to win, but I think Golden State's great. I would point out a couple of things, though, on Golden State. They're not just a jump shooting team. They're a great jump shooting team.
Great scoring
they
team.
are at the moment. Their point differential is #1 this year.
Right.
They've been winning games by more than 10 points. They have a great defense. They're #1 in field goal defense, #2 in blocks, #4 in steals. They are a complete team.
Tony,
so even if the premise is right, it may not apply.
They could be the exception.
That's right.
And if Andrew Bogut gets out there, Tony, and he's going to start the series out there, they're a really, really effective defensive
Who are
team.
you picking? I'm out there with Cleveland. Who are you picking?
I was picking San Antonio until they finish 6th, and I don't think they can win 3 straight series on the road.
So who are you picking?
I'm going to pick Golden State.
So you're going to make Charles
I'm going to go
foolish.
against Charles on this one only because of the seeding, Tony. In San Antonio, maybe they can win 3 straight series on the road. It's hard.
Do you understand that Golden State gets 11 threes a game, which means by the second game they're ahead of Lance Stevenson for the entire year? The entire year.
Take his shots.
Your boy.
That shots at Lance.
Yeah.
That gratuitous. If you thought that contract negotiations would go smoothly between the Seahawks and the quarterback who led them to consecutive Super Bowl appearances, Russell Wilson, you're wrong. Dead wrong. Extension talks are slow, not contentious yet. And club GM John Schneider said on Seattle radio, quote, "We'd love him to be our quarterback, but the thing is, we need to keep as many of these guys together as we can," close quote. Tony, what, if anything, do you read into these very public remarks?
I read 2 things. I read fear and I read observation. I mean, the guy knows that if he gives Russell Wilson a boatload of money, he can't keep all the other great players around him that helped them win a Super Bowl and get to 2 in a row. He watched what happened with the Baltimore Ravens. They gave Joe Flacco a lot of money.
Let some of those defenders go.
And they didn't make the playoffs the next year.
That's right.
So he's afraid of that happening. Not every quarterback is Tom Brady, whose wife makes more than he makes. So you'd like to scare Russell Wilson into dropping some of his demands.
A few.
Some
getting
of his
under a certain threshold.
To keep the team together. That's what I read.
It's also public negotiating. You want to get the fan base in Seattle, the celebrated fan base, on your side.
Oh, but
and
you
want to say,
look against Russell Wilson. He's been there.
Well, wait a minute, Tony.
Quarterback.
Tony, historically, fan bases will go against players. They're not going against the club. The club, the uniform is what they root for.
It's self-destructive if you turn people against Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but it's also destructive, too, if you wind up feeling you can't sign most of those players who help you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you go out there publicly on Seattle radio and you do this because you want fans to understand, hey, we got a budget here. There's a ceiling, and Russell Wilson, if he takes all of this, you people, the celebrated 12th man, will not get these Super Bowl appearances any longer.
I think he's going to get the money. Because you look around, there's not a quarterback out there that fits that system as well as he does. He doesn't have flaws like we've seen in Colin Kaepernick. If you don't send a stupid play to make him throw, he's going to make the right decision almost all the time.
But he can't play defense, he can't play special teams, he can't catch the ball, too.
And you know what else he could do? He could opt out. He could say, I'm going to play my rookie contract out, and then I'm going to become a free agent. I suspect what's going to happen is they're going to give him the money because he's not going to play baseball.
They'll come to some sort of agreement. I can't see Russell Wilson leaving Seattle, and they better not let him go. Because how do you explain that to you?
No, he's too good.
He is too good.
Can't. Your Cubs finally allowed rookie third baseman Kris Bryant to make his major league debut today after assuring themselves an extra year of contract protection. They batted him cleanup, the first Cub to make his debut in a cleanup spot in 73 years, and he promptly struck out in his first at-bat and his second and his third. In his fourth at-bat, he at least touched the ball, grounded out to third to end a rally. Wilbon, are the expectations for Bryant too high?
Depends on whose expectations you're talking about. Mine aren't. I expect them to strike out a lot. That whole team strikes out a lot. Last year, they struck out 1,000 more times than they walked. This is what young players do. They look foolish against veteran pitching.
At the beginning.
Up and down.
At the beginning.
Okay, but we're at the beginning.
That's right.
And so you got to start at the beginning. And so I expect Kris Bryant to wind up having, I don't know, 23, 25 home runs, a bunch of strikeouts. He'll be a great player in time.
Yeah.
But for right now, this is sort of like you could write a note to Scott Boras and say, pipe down. Your boy barely put his bat on the ball. He's going to be great, but not today.
I don't think the expectations are too high. This is a guy who hit home runs on every level that he's ever played. He hit 9 home runs in spring training, which nobody else did. He hit 477 in spring training, which is enormous. He's not going to do that right away in the majors. But he's what I found interesting that I learned today, because I didn't know how old he was.
23.
He's a 23-year-old from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
There's a 22-year-old from Las Vegas named Bryce Harper who's been in the league for 3 years already. And he's carried the same sort of expectations. He hasn't lived up to them yet.
They don't do so well right away.
But I think the expectations are legit for Harper, and I think they're legit for Bryant.
Down the line.
Yeah, I do. I think they're legitimate. He's a savior-type player, isn't he?
Tony.
Isn't he?
No. No, he's not. No, he's not. Is he Barry Bonds? No. No, he's not that. And you're talking about a savior. Everything's relative. Savior for that franchise? There's only one level that savior has to reach. The World Series. Bryce Harper didn't have that kind of pressure.
Well, that's what Joe Madden said was going to happen as soon as this year. You're competing for the World
Series.
Series.
Even more pressure.
I don't think it's extraordinary. I think it's extraordinary pressure. I don't think it's outrageous because I think he's supposed to be that good. What if he is that good?
Then great.
Right.
But to expect him to be that good? How'd those first 3 bats? We watched him. How'd those first 3 at-bats
go? Not in the first week or so, but by the end of the year, you could see. You saw it with Trout. You saw it. You saw it.
The guy being Trout? I'd take that right now.
Of course you would.
I'd take that. I would. We have another story where last year's stud is this year's cast-off. Larry Bird and Frank Vogel say if Roy Hibbert comes back, his role will be diminished because the Pacers intend to change their basketball philosophy to go to smaller and faster. Hibbert, you should probably know, has a player option for next year that would pay him $15.5 million for that 1 year, unless, of course, he's nuts and he opts out. Tony Bird says he presumes Hibbert's going to come back. So what's the next move here?
Well, if I'm Roy Hibbert, I take advantage of my Georgetown education, and I study carefully what Frank Vogel and Larry Bird have said. And I realize what they have said was, please go away.
That's right.
Get out of here as far as you can and as fast as you can. And I factor that in. And then I look at the $15.5 million that is on my call.
And that factors above anything that Bird and Vogel say.
And you know what I think? If you want to keep me on the bench all year, then I'm rested for the next team that takes me, because you know what I'm going to be? 7-2.
That's right.
And somebody's going to give me money.
And while most of the league goes to smaller and faster, and power forwards to them are all stretch fours, they're going to be at least a half dozen to a dozen teams in the league that value 7-2. Right. And you know what? All 30 teams are not going in that direction so fast that Roy Hibbert's going to be completely extinct. So Roy Hibbert says, look, guys, I love you. I've had a great time here. We got to the conference finals. We got close. We can make a trade me. Trade me. I will tell you where I won't
But I
go
want the
and won't
$15.5
resign.
million.
I'll take my 15.5. You start looking for a trade.
Do you know what he averaged this year? He averaged 11 points and 7 rebounds.
They started to de-emphasize it.
Do you know
already.
what his career average numbers are? 11 and 7.
Close to.
So
Yeah.
This is what he
Right
gives
there.
you. This is who he
Yeah, but
is.
his spike, his high was better than that.
And there are games when he's dreadful, when he goes 0-0, and there are playoff games when he goes 0-0. There are playoff games when he goes 25.
Look.
So if anybody thinks that nobody is giving Roy Hibbert money in 2 years,
gonna give him money.
those people are insane.
They're crazy. And by the way, I don't blame Bird and Vogel here.
No.
They look at this and say, okay, here's who else we have. Here's what we project.
He's holding us up.
We're looking at kids coming out of college. We're looking at kids coming out of Europe and Asia and Africa. Here's what the basketball world is showing us we need to do.
But he can't be so prideful as to not take the money.
Take the money, no question.
Jordan Spieth opened the Hilton Head tournament on Thursday with a plus 374. He was in 93rd place last night, so he said, quote, no excuses. I just didn't have it today, but I've got a good feeling about tomorrow, unquote. And tomorrow, which was today, Spieth shot minus 962. How do you like that? Now he's top 10. Well, on today's 62, something or nothing.
Tony, it's something, because everything Jordan Spieth does now is something, because he's Jordan Spieth.
62.
Everything he and Rory do is something. Everything Tiger still does is something,
Yes.
even though we need to slow and roll on that. But let me just caution a little bit. This golf course, the week after the Masters, is made for dart throwing. Somebody shot 61, somebody shot 64. Going low is what this golf, it's exactly what the doctor ordered for PGA Tour professionals the week after the stress and tension of Augusta National.
Right.
This is what they're going to have out there all weekend.
Let me go to another thing the week after Augusta National. This kid, Jordan Spieth, wasn't prepared to play on Thursday because on Monday and Tuesday, he did every show in mankind. He was on Letterman. He was on the Today Show. He would have come to your house and talked to you for an hour and a half. So when he walked out there on Thursday, he wasn't where he normally is on a Thursday to play golf.
That's right.
So he got embarrassed a little bit. He took an extra day, and he flew a 62 in there, and now all is right with the world. You mentioned McIlroy. The difference, people say, between him and McIlroy is that McIlroy will take tournaments off here and there, and he won't care. And that Spieth may be more of a grinder. He may come closer to realizing his potential more consistently than McIlroy, although they're both obviously
Well,
great.
what speaks to that is, you wonder why Spieth didn't just do what certainly Tiger would have done, and I presume
Take the
Tiger
week
and
off.
Phil, and just say, you know what?
I'm not playing.
I'm not doing this.
I'm
I'm
not
not
playing.
ready to play this.
Because
You
he's
put
only
all these
21.
demands on me.
He's a kid.
Well, but Tony, there are people out there, despite the sort of NBA trend of preventative maintenance, there are people who want to play all 82. Or in golf, what that means is every week. I know VJ is there's no more VJs.
No, they're not like that.
But you know what?
They're not
Kudos
like
to
that.
Spieth for going out there and making a fan base very happy.
His
they get to
last
the
4
Masters
tournaments, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Could I interest you in that?
Pretty good.
Let's take a break. But coming up, how many games will the Celtics take off the Cavs?
And will the Senators really follow through on their threat to slash PK Subban tonight? You know they will.
I don't think they will.
I like Subban, but you got to go after him. You got to go after all their players. You have to.
I don't know.
What are you going to do? Roll over if you're Ottawa?
No, but you don't have
Pardon the interruption is presented by Crown Royal Regal Apple. Smooth to the core. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
The game is over under. Feel free to wager at home
No.
if you have a huge gambling
No,
problem.
don't say that.
What's first, Wilbon?
All right, here's what's first. 5 games in the first round series for Celtics Cavaliers.
I love the Cavaliers. I expect them to win the series. I expect them to win it handily. But if I go under, that means
Sweep.
I expect a sweep.
Well, LeBron always sweeps in the first
Well,
round.
let me give you a couple of things. You know the Celtics record in their last 35 games?
Yeah, something like 22 and
23 and 12.
Yeah, okay.
And the only team in the East that was as good or better are the Cavaliers at 26 and 9. Now, I can't say 5, which is what I think the series will go, because that's a push, and we don't push in this game.
Really?
And if I say 6, then I expect if I say over, then I expect a long
series. You can go sweep. You can go sweep.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under, but without great conviction.
Yeah, and that great conviction is something I don't have either, which is why I'm going to push. We do push.
You can't push.
You have to.
The game's over under.
See, here's what I want to do. I want to get it right. I don't care about the game and its arbitrary rules set up probably by you and people of your ilk.
These are rules.
Here's
under.
where I'm
it's
going.
not called push.
Then reality can write this down and we can see what happens.
Push it real good. No, it's not. That's not the game.
Because the Cavaliers are going to win 4-1. Boston's going to get a game in Boston.
That's what it's
going to be.
It's the worst thing you can do is cheat the game.
1/2 slash on Mr. Subban tonight. I'm going to
go under.
Ottawa.
And I know what the coach of Ottawa has said.
Retaliation, baby.
Dave Cameron basically promised that every star on the Canadiens was going to take a beating because Subban was not further suspended than missing the rest of the first game. But I'm betting this when I go under.
And Stone, we don't even know if Stone is playing tonight.
We don't know he's not.
Okay.
I'm betting that Gary Bettman or an agent for Gary Bettman called up Mr. Cameron and the ownership of Ottawa and said, you will do no such thing. You will not touch anybody, and I believe it's an under situation.
It doesn't work that way. This is hockey, and you don't make that call because you'd be stupid to make that call because you're going against everything you believe in, too, about your own game and the ability to take care and to be vigilant and to deal out retribution, if you will. And I believe it's going to be over, and it's going to be way over, like 2.5 or 3 times. Sure. Why not? Subban's a big boy. He can take care. You know what he said? I've been slashed a lot harder. So let's find out if you're Ottawa.
What's next?
Boom. 1 point tonight in Game 2 for Alexander Ovechkin.
Alexander Ovechkin,
your boy.
He's the most prolific goal scorer in the league. He leads in goals. He leads in power play goals. He leads in game-winning goals. But he hasn't scored a point in his last 6 playoff games. The Capitals are up against the wall. If they lose this game, they're going to lose this series, as they so frequently do.
Yeah.
So I'm going the other way. I'm going over. I'm saying that Ovi gets at least 2 points and the Capitals win.
I think he's going to score 2 goals.
2 goals?
2 goals. I don't know about the Capitals winning.
Gold.
The Capitals winning, Tony, that's the problem. Look, Ovechkin has scored many a goal in games the Capitals lose.
They're not going to win. He's going to get 2 goals and not going to win? That's your prediction?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fearless.
No, it's not.
And insane.
Look, the Capitals can't lose a 5-3 game, particularly when their goaltender apparently sick, even though the head coach doesn't want to comment on it and said, mind your own business when asked what's wrong.
They got other goaltenders that Chicago proved the other night.
You want to go that way? You want to go against your starter?
I'm going to say he's going to win. I'm going to say they're going to win.
I'm going to say he's going to get 2 goals tonight.
What's next?
2 goals. 3 earned runs off Mr. Kershaw by the Colorado Rockies tonight.
He's at home. If he was in Colorado, I'd be tempted to go over.
It's not the same place
but the ball still
to be.
Flies out. Here, the
Dodger Stadium doesn't fly out.
Colorado Rockies 7-2 this year, better than I thought. Sneaky good.
Yeah.
Score a lot of offense. 30 runs on the road in 6 games. Kershaw's ERA at the moment is 5.84. He's giving
up where he left
5 runs
off in the playoffs
and 3 runs. Last year, only one time did he go over 3 earned. Only one time in the whole year. He's already gone over in the first week. I'm stupid. I'm going under. I think he's due.
That's stupid. I'm going to go over. I think that we see people go in this direction. Look, Verlander at one point was untouchable, and then he wasn't. CC Sabathia at one point was untouchable, and then he wasn't. I mean, pitchers don't last forever.
Scherzer still untouchable.
Well, okay, but, you know, he hasn't had the long run
David
other
Price
guys have had.
Still untouchable.
I'm going to go over. Kershaw seems to have picked up where he left off in the last playoffs last year. We don't know if this is physical, if it's psychological, if it's strategic.
I'm going to congratulate you because you only pushed once, which is a joke.
Smart push.
That's it.
Smart push.
Over-under is over.
Real manly push.
Let's take one last break. It was not manly, but still to come. Johnny Manziel, your boy.
Yeah, don't even try it.
Statement
don't even
on
go
his
there.
recent issues.
And how should the Patriots feel about new Jet Darrelle Revis joining them at the White House?
Was he on the field with them
Celebration
during the
of
Super Bowl?
Champions. He left.
Was he on the field?
Yeah.
Did he earn it? Did he earn it?
Here.
Okay, that would be my point.
Not a Patriot anymore. Not a team.
Happy time, people. Happy 32nd birthday tomorrow to Miguel Cabrera. Over the last 5 years, Cabrera has been the best hitter in baseball. And he has started out red hot this year, batting .439 after a 2-for-4 today. And his Detroit Tigers are 9-1. Best team in baseball.
All right, right now, make a call. Trout or Cabrera, if you had to win a game with your life on the line tonight, Trout or Cabrera?
I would take Trout because I think he's a better fielder. He gives me better defense, don't you think? Happy anniversary, Joel Quenneville. On this day last year, the Blackhawks coach protested a non-call and a loss to the Blues by grabbing his man zone while screaming at the refs, and he was fined $25,000. The most controversial thing Quenneville has done in these playoffs is announce that Corey Crawford will start in goal tonight over super sub Scotty Darling.
That was very unfair. He was just adjusting.
Stop it.
He won that series.
If he didn't coach
that series,
you'd want him run out of the
say
game.
that.
Happy trails to the women's winner of the St. Louis Marathon. Kendall Schlur, who crossed the line first, was found not to have run the whole race.
Ooh.
It is suspected that she entered the course between the final checkpoint and the finish line. This is apparently Schlur's move. She's accused of doing the same thing during a third-place finish last year.
You know what this conjures up?
Yes, of course I do.
Rosie Ruiz, baby.
Yeah.
35 years ago, Rosie Ruiz.
Yeah.
Subway, do we believe that story, Subway?
We believe she didn't run the whole thing.
Okay.
No errors today. Push it real good. And now we go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, successful quadruple bypass surgery yesterday. Your thoughts?
We wish Kareem a speedy and thorough recovery.
Absolutely.
Johnny Manziel released a statement of apology. What did you make of that?
I thought it was brilliantly written and delivered and all of that. I mean, I don't know.
Celebrity publicists probably took care of that.
They did it right. If you want an apology, that was the right apology. Sean Kemp hosted a party celebrating the Thunder not making the playoffs. Is that fair or foul?
That's fair. Seattle owes OKC nothing. They stole their team. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people are happy about what Sean Kemp did. Now, I'm not talking about,
his kids, all of them. Yes.
Darrelle Revis is going to join the Patriots on their trip to the White House next month. Is that awkward?
It is awkward because he left to go to the Jets, but he deserved this. He was great for the Patriots. They don't win without him,
No,
so of course
probably
he
not.
should do this. Last one. The NBA season could be a week longer next year. Please, how are you going to defend that?
This is an attempt to get rid of as many back-to-backs and 4 games in 5 nights. This is about the networks, too. They can leave make that if they wanted to, but we're not going there.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, Knuckleheads. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes. The Ball Weekend.
Charlottesville. Here we
We're
come.
coming.
Right, Wilbon, you ready for that?
I'm ready for balls and pucks.
Charlottesville.
Balls and pucks, baby.
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Kris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
We have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.